we've seen Trump stretch his presidential powers over the last 5 months. Is this different?
It feels different. It feels different to, can we swear here?
Sure.
Around with the military. It feels really different.
By the way, for your help from around the country, you said live cam of Los Angeles, Tuesday morning, 6:10, still not on fire, still totally normal. Don't believe the authoritarian propaganda. I mean, it's amazing. We have to, put out the basic facts. The people, those of us that live there are being told by, maggots from Alabama that our city, Karen from Portland, which, as we know, burned to the ground, was very nice to call us in solidarity, where we sit here in cinders in L.A., which is totally burned to the ground. It's insane, Bob. It's insane. There's more, as I was saying, the vast majority is law enforcement and media. There's nothing happening here.
Right. And speaking of media, it's the news media, whether inadvertently or intentionally, is amplifying the fascist authoritarian propaganda we're getting from the White House. So I get the idea of if it bleeds, it leads. That's been a dominating maxim among journalists and
the head dead yet?
For
dirty
many,
laundry.
many years.
Give us dirty laundry.
Oh, yes, of course. And so they love publishing the most inflammatory, shocking-looking imagery that goes along with events like
and
this.
Stop saying riots. There's no riots.
Yeah.
Stop saying riots, right? I'm sorry.
And then the use of the word riots, which is staggeringly inaccurate. It makes it seem like the whole city, the entire Los Angeles basin, is erupting in a conflagration of flames and disaster, and it's really not. It's a couple of blocks, as you were saying.
Yeah.
And so it's our duty as parts of the independent media to make sure we correct the record and get the word out about what's really happening on the ground there. And it's not what we're seeing on CNN or coming out of the White House, which they all have a vested interest in inflaming and making sure that people believe that there's a disaster taking place in Los Angeles that requires the Marines to go in somehow to put it down.
Yeah,
but,
thank you.
It's the usual thing.
And I was saying, Bob, I so appreciate everybody on social media. As Archer says, when you actually know living, breathing people in L.A. and the protests aren't riots, and 80% of the city is carrying on as normal, you guys, Fox News is not real news. Toby said the LA protests are so quote unquote violent. Fox News is having to show videos and still images from protests from the first Trump administration to fill their round the clock lying about what's really going on in LA. I'm not being sarcastic. They really are showing video and images that are over 5 years old to support their narrative of violent left mob.
That's right. And, I want to make sure I give credit where credit is due to the great Malcolm Nance, who's, I assume, going to be on the show later.
Yes.
He suggested that we play certain kinds of music as
in the
Donald
Navy,
Trump's federal agents go
YMCA, yes. Turn it into a dance party.
YMCA, others. I did a public service on my podcast, on my Tuesday episode of my show, where I played the Calliope clown car version of the Imperial March by the great John Williams. I just played it uninterrupted.
We have that. We have that. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yes, we do. And in fact, in the A block of my podcast, I played it uninterrupted without any commentary over top of it so people can clip it out, isolate it, and play it during maybe even this weekend during Donald Trump's Small in the Pants parade, as JoJo calls it.
Yes. You said, you retweeted Elliot, who said brand new polling from YouGov out this morning find Trump's action regarding LA underwater. I would hope so.
Yeah.
Double-digit disapproval on sending in Marines. This should be a reality check for those people arguing the protests inherently help Trump because his administration approval is positive. Not this. Again, this is not, I don't think what people thought. I don't know what to say anymore about Trump voters. I don't know what they thought, but
Well, this
I'm not sure the level of Marines deployed against Americans was what they thought. Yeah.
Right. Well, what this has ultimately done is, once again, solidified his base. He hasn't expanded his level of support at all by taking these actions. In fact, I imagine he's driven some people away. There was another poll, I think it was a YouGov poll, that asked people if you could have a do-over of the 2024 election.
Yeah.
5% of Trump voters said they would vote for Kamala Harris.
Oh,
in
they
a
say
do-over
Kamala was right about everything, which is available now at StephanieMiller.com.
Oh, yes.
LA resident, God. Kamala Harris, yes.
And as we know, Donald Trump won the election by 1.5 points. So you give him that 5 points, or you give Kamala Harris the 5 points of Republicans who would change their vote if they had a chance to have a do-over.
Yeah. No,
and that's the election. Suddenly we have President Kamala Harris.
Yeah, you posted his sinking approval ratings just through June. And also, you retweeted Christopher Webb, who said, due process on pause. ICE is detaining people without charges and blocking attorney access. I hope LA and California are transparent about the data, because I bet most of these folks have no criminal record, just moms, dads, and young people doing the work that most Americans won't touch. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
And, again, there's reporting, I forget where it is, about, of course, this is all Stephen Miller just going, get everybody.
Yep.
We need to get the numbers up. I mean, everybody can see what's happening here. Biden and Obama deported way more people. This is all a show. He's just get the numbers up. I don't care. Just grab. Bob, that's what's happening in LA. That's what started this. They're just grabbing brown people. I mean, kids, mothers. I don't know if you saw the footage yesterday of them literally prying a baby out of a mother's arms while they handcuff her. I mean,
one tragedy after another that we're seeing playing out on video. And, I think we need to be sharing more of that. We need to be circulating more of that. Once again, not only independent media, but people who are active on social media. This is how we push back, because it's the human story of all of this, not necessarily the Donald Trump story, the human story that changes people's minds. If we go back to when Kilmar Garcia was prominent in the news, making headlines, leading off cable news segments, Donald Trump's approval numbers on immigration dropped rapidly to being underwater. So his disapprove was higher than his approval ratings on immigration. That's his strongest issue area.
Yeah.
But when Kilmar Garcia dropped out of the news, when people stopped covering it, his numbers went back up. So it's the human stories that make a difference.
Bob, nobody is for illegal immigration. And let's remind people, we had a bill that Trump told them to kill. He wanted this problem. He created this problem for politics. And people are going to die because of it. I mean...
In fact, Gavin Newsom in his speech, I wrote this down because I thought it was so spot on. And I've had my issues with Gavin Newsom, as we all have in this past year.
Yeah, me
but
too.
He said Donald Trump chose theatrics over public safety.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he's doing. As I said, he's kind of solidifying his base by taking these actions and thinking it's going to make him look like a strong leader. And he's
because of Taco. How much you want to bet what's triggering him is the Taco thing. The Taco fell, him stumbling up. He's such a tiny, tiny, whiny baby, right?
Yeah.
This is part of just got to look like a tough guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
and a lot of it is Stephen Miller, who is goading him on with all of this. And, we know that Stephen Miller is the worm tongue, the Rasputin of the Trump administration, who is, behind the scenes implementing just the worst ideas and driven by the worst biases and racism.
Can you please Google average home price Santa Monica, California? Okay. Yeah, because as you know, it's a flaming hellhole where he grew up.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And I think you got to have about $4 million for a starter house at Santa Monica. I'm not sure, but okay.
Time for some disaster capitalism,
Speaking of Newsom, you retweeted Newsom is skating to the puck for once. God bless. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The average home value in Santa Monica is $1,735,195.
Okay, I was all right. It's almost $2 million. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for houses, it might be up there, but there are also condos and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Ron Filipowski, who said one thing Newsom has shown is the key to effectively deal with Trump and the MAGA propaganda machine. You must respond immediately and call out the lies. You can't wait till hours or days later, then answer in a press conference, statement, scripted speech. All Democrats should learn from this. I mean, 2028 is a long way away, but I'm telling you, people are saying that all over social media, like this is the Gavin Newsom, right? Right? I mean...
he's running. He's running for sure.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing that gave me hope. He said yesterday, because you had your favorite quote, he said, because I said all week, I hope he's learned his lesson about this palling around with right-wingers and trying to move to the center or work with Trump. Gavin Newsom said yesterday, I've tried to work with him. You can't work with Donald Trump. You can only work for him, and I will not. I refuse to work for Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. That's it, right? That's what I kept saying. Is stop. You can't work with a fascist to help them bring in fascism more quickly, right?
Oh yeah. It's impossible. I mean, this is a guy who manipulates and uses the people around him, exploits the people around him, and they for some reason, continue to line up with him. I'll never understand that, because what we know is that everyone who gets close to Donald Trump eventually gets thrown into the meat grinder and gets a wacky nickname and is thrown out of the loop. See also Elon Musk, and he's learning that lesson quickly.
By the way, asked what crimes Gavin Newsom committed, Trump says his crime, quote unquote, is being a bad governor. Groundbreaking legal theory from the guy with 34 felony convictions. I mean, it just goes from encouraging Homan to arrest Newsom. I mean, So here we are.
The crime he committed. Donald Trump said the crime Gavin Newsom committed was being elected governor.
Right, running, actually. Just running, I guess, was his crime.
Running for governor. The authoritarianism is just leaking out of Donald Trump every damn day, every time he's in front of a microphone.
I told the story.
Just see more evidence of it.
When I used to go, visit my mom like all the time when she was, in the nursing home with Alzheimer's at the end of her life. And I always tell the story, Bob. This is like a very ruby red county in North Carolina. This was like auto repair. Just had a sign in the window that said Gavin Newsom sucks. And I was like, I know, but it tells you how like sort of threatened they are by him, because I'm like, how do you even what? And this is like a couple of years ago. I'm like, Anyway.
Yeah.
But
what they do with Gavin Newsom is they attack him the same way they attack Nancy Pelosi, because of his connection to San Francisco and California. San Francisco liberals is code word. It's MAGA code word for, he's gay, or he supports gay people.
Too pretty to be straight. Right.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, and here it is, because it's interesting talking to you, Bob. You've got your, the Small in the Pants parade coming up in D.C.
Yep.
We've got what's going
JoJo
on.
JoJo is awesome for that.
I know. And we've got, this going on in L.A. Timothy said $134 million for the stunt in L.A. Now, and by the way, I think they confirmed the deployment's for 60 days. Really?
Yep.
To just stand here. I mean, it's okay. $90 million for his parade, $3 million every time he goes golfing, $1 billion to turn his bribe into Air Force One. Donald is an expensive mistake. He just keeps getting worse. He's like President Money Pit. Like we just.
Oh yeah. It's not about spending for Donald Trump. He's not concerned about spending money, although he is a notorious cheapskate.
Yeah.
It's more about what he's spending it on. When he's spending it on things that aggrandize him, that make him seem kingly, or like, exactly what he is, an authoritarian dictator, that's the money he's willing to spend, because it reinforces his hold on power in the United States, his ability to destroy democratic norms. And so that's all valid spending as far as Donald Trump goes. He's perfectly happy doing that.
And to close on your point about polling that you've been talking about, Bob, is Timothy said both sides are the same. Kamala would have wrecked the economy, thrown herself a military parade, and been on the brink of martial law inside of 5 months. Really? I mean, there is a more and more, leopard face eating people every day. It appears.
Right, and an indication that voters in the United States, and this is not all voters, be clear about that, but we need to learn how to prioritize what's important for not just the near term, but for the long term, and create a balance between those things, because what we're constantly doing, especially on the left, is shooting ourselves in the foot by chasing after things that end up backfiring, and we end up with Donald Trump and authoritarianism in the United States, where we could have had, just by a wafer-thin margin, we could have had something different now, and yet here we are.
Yeah. What's it called again? What's it called? Imperial what? Imperial Clown Car? What did we label it?
Yeah, I think that's the name of the file. Imperial Clown Car
courtesy
March.
of Bob Seska. Record I'm going to bring this on a loudspeaker and Mark Hamill with me.
Yes. Play that as Donald Trump's parade goes marching on by. It's a great way to peacefully resist an authoritarian Small in the Pants parade. I just can't get enough of that. That's a great.
I'm going to say I'm going to have the best dish to pass. Going to be like, it's Mark Hamill. I brought Luke Skywalker.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Outstanding.
I love you, Bob. See you next week.
Love you,
I
Stephanie.
won't see you next
Thank
week.
you.
Hey, are you traveling this summer? Will you leave instructions for your house sitter, the name and number of your vet, maybe, the code to your alarm system? Think about the steps you take to prepare for vacation, and you'll get a sense of what goes into a knockbox. Just go to theknockbox.com. Use the code code Stephanie. Knockbox is a complete system that helps you organize all of your accounts, possessions, and estate plans for your next of kin. Each Knockbox, that's Knockbox, comes with a comprehensive checklist that helps ensure you add everything they'll need to manage your estate when you are gone. From your funeral directives to your insurance policies, even the keys to your storage unit, the Knockbox helps you organize it all. If you've got a household, you need a Knockbox. Right now, Stephanie Miller listeners save 16% off the Knockbox of your choice. Just go to theknockbox.com/Stephanie. That's thenokbox.com/Stephanie to get 16% off. Stay calm, get organized today.